Sawate Skippeldy. This video is about verb persons, and there are lots of ways to explain this and to describe this. So we're going to start with the first way to explain this, and you can latch on to whichever explanation speaks to you the most. We're going to start with sort of an English point of view. Point of view. Okay, so another word or phrase for verb persons is point of view. Okay, so in English, every story is told using a point of view. It has to come from somewhere, right? So a first person point of view means that the author is talking about themselves, their own experiences, their own point of view is the first person point of view. And if you think about that, the author talking about himself, there's only one person involved in that. So first person means one person involved in that whole thing. Okay? Second person point of view, I think would be kind of difficult in storytelling. It is being told to you as if it's happening to you. So the author is telling the story to you about you. Okay, so let's think about how many people are involved in that. The author talks to you, the reader, about you, the reader. Only two people are involved there. So second person means two people involved. The author and you. Let's think about third person point of view. First and third person are going to come up a lot more. So third person point of view is when the author talks to you about someone else. Okay, so think about how many people are involved there. So the author, that's one person, talks to you, the reader, two people, about someone else. That's three people. So if three people are involved in the storytelling transaction, if you want to think about it like that, that is in third person. Okay. One way to think about it is through a storytelling sort of angle. Okay. Another way to think about it is through a gaming idea. If you recognize this, then you must have played Skyrim a few times. If you Google first person perspective Skyrim, this is what comes up, as it should. Okay, so I just gave you another word that works in place of the word persons, verb persons, and that's perspective. We said for English it was point of view. You could think of it that way. Or you can also think of it as a perspective. When you're playing a game, you have a certain perspective depending on the view that you choose. Okay, so this is a first person perspective where you are seeing what you would see if you were actually in the Elder Scrolls world, whatever the heck it's called. Shibby would know, but he's not here right now. So, and that's what you get from me. So, as the first person view, you only see your hands. You don't see your face. When you wake up in the morning, do you see your face? No, you see your hands, or you see, yeah, or your toes, I guess. I don't know, whatever. So, first person point of view, this is what you're going to see as you slay your dragon there. Now, a second person perspective in a game, I had the picture, but it wasn't a great picture. But that would be a view where you see your whole character. Usually in Skyrim, you're going to see them from the back. So you see the back of their head and the back of their torso, I guess. And that's the second person view. It's like you're following them around. So your character's one person, and then you, as the follower, are a second person. So there's your second person perspective. Now, third person perspective, I can't imagine that pops up very much, but let's see. Let's see what pops up. Probably a lot of weapons. So you see more of yourself? I suppose. Okay. As opposed to the second person point of view in Skyrim. You're a lot closer. I don't see that much of a difference between second and third person in gaming, so don't get confused by that. But at least we can talk about it through the eyes of first and second person when we're gaming, okay? Um, and I want to talk to you, or I'm going to let Dr. Massey talk to you about it as grammar, as it is in Latin. And the reason I'm letting him talk to you about this is because he has pretty slides of things that we've already talked about. You will notice me skip over the parts, hopefully I remember, from later on in the end, because there's one thing we haven't talked about, and I don't want you to get confused with that. So enjoy Dr. Massey. This is how to think about it, how to think about Latin persons through the eyes of Latin and language in general. So I'm gonna make this full screen here, and you enjoy Dr. Massey.
This tutorial will be an overview of the concept of the persons of the verb. The persons of the verb are first person, second person, and third person. And the way you can remember these is, remember, I'm number one. When you say the phrase, I'm number one, you've told yourself that first person is I or me. And so first person singular is going to be I, and the pronoun in Latin is ego. Second person singular is the person you're talking to. Now, if you're talking face to face with someone, it's me and it's you. And in English, in Old English, we used to have an actual singular you form, and it was thou, and it was related through the common ancestor to the Latin pronoun tu. In later English, we've started to use you for both singular and plural. But remember that Latin has distinct forms. Third person singular refers to he, she, or it doing something. The pronouns is, ea, and id from that demonstrative can function in Latin for he, she, and it. In the plural, first person plural is we. Now remember the rule, I'm number one. I'm a part of we. If you and I decide to do something together, I'm a part of it, but it's plural. And so first person plural is we. The Latin pronoun is nos.
So just talking about the we for 1 second, we can still do the counting people thing in plural, but it's a little bit different. So you want to count not just each person, but each group of people. So let's say we walk home, me and a group of people walk home. Well, first person plural, the group of people walking home counts as one. Think of it that way, as first person refers to either one person talking about themselves or one group talking about themselves. So I or we.
Second person plural, you or you all, in Latin is vos. And third person plural.
Imagine the people in the second person plural. That means that I, the speaker, am talking to a group of people about that group of people. So when I'm in class, I might say, all of you did great on the test. Okay? All of you, as in the group of students, that counts as one. So I, the speaker, talk to one group of students, two, about the group of students. And it's still two. So two people involved in that conversation is second person.
Would be they. And the pronouns ei, ei, and ea can function for that in Latin.
So third person, I, the speaker, talk to you, the listener, about a group of other people. So we have I, the speaker, is number one, you, the listener, number two, and the group of people we're talking about is number three, making it third person.
The important point to take away from this is that when we ask who are the persons of the verb, the tenses and the pronouns all have their own possible forms. For instance, I could say, what is the third person plural ending for the present? And the answer in Latin will be nt. If I ask, what is the first person singular ending for the present? The answer will be o. But it's different. And with the pronouns, if I ask you, what is the second person singular pronoun? The answer, tu. And the first person plural pronoun is nos.
So just to go back to this little chart, so we talked about this in chapter 9, I believe, or maybe 8, 8 or 9. The pronouns of our verbs, so the words that mean I, that's ego. The word that means you, singular, is tu. The words that mean he, she, or it is id. The word that means we is nos. The word that means you all or you plural is vos. And they needs to be split up into 3 words based on gender, but we don't need to really worry about that right now. Just be able to recognize them as the pronouns for they, ei, ai, ea. And that's it for Dr. Massey. So I think that's it for my persons of the verb. We will talk about this more tomorrow, and I really hope that you take advantage of the question section on your log, because this is kind of difficult to understand grammar if you haven't seen it before. So I want you to be really diligent in making sure you don't leave this room after the lesson without knowing what I'm talking about. Ask me 700 questions if that's what you need. But please fill out your video log for me and the question at the end. So, I don't know. What is the Roman numeral for 7? Give it a try. Roman numeral for 7. Enjoy!